Someone in China ate a bat and then got really sick. Now we're all trapped inside our houses. What a f***ing dick. Nobody wants to live this way. But there's a place you'll be okay. Good thing we all can go downstairs and hang out with someone who cares. He's like you, he's locked into with his current state of affairs. So pull up a seat while we all hang downstairs.
Good morning. It's day 12 of CoronaViction 2020, where we were evicted from the radio station and have to work at home. So this is day 12 work day wise. It's more like day 16. I haven't been out of the house, but so tonight is another episode of Oak Island, The Curse of Oak Island. Anybody watch this show? My brother got me hooked on this 4 or 5 years ago, and I've been watching it ever since. Here's the story of Oak Island in a nutshell. It's on Tuesday nights, History Channel. Check your local listings if you want to watch it, record it, whatever. This is the story in a nutshell. Over 100 years ago, some guys were on this island off of Nova Scotia, Oak Island, and allegedly found this shaft with like platforms in it and weird stuff, and they didn't know what it was, and they were digging, and they found some like a stone etched with strange markings, and so they're thinking there's treasure buried on this island. And as other people have come in now looking for this treasure over the years, they say there's flood tunnels that are booby traps, so if you trigger something, water will go in, you can't get in wherever treasure this is. It's supposed to be buried like 150, 200 feet down. That's what they're thinking anyway. So this has been going on for a number of years. 6 people have died looking for the treasure. That's the curse. And then supposedly there's supposed to be one more person that'll die while looking for the treasure. Whatever. So this is what's going on. And currently there's 2 guys from Michigan, I believe, Rick and Marty Lagina, who are, and their friend Craig Tester. They're all there as part of this group. And actually it's a big group of guys who are all looking for this treasure on the island. And they're 7 seasons in. They're almost done with the 7th season. I think there might be another episode, but you know, I started watching maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and you know, you get sucked into it real easy. But after 4 or 5 seasons now, I'm starting to take a step back and say, are they just stringing us along? Have I just wasted 5 years of my life on this show, like an hour every Tuesday? Because I mean, they keep finding little things on the beach that could have been found years ago, and they're just all of a sudden finding them on the beach now. I mean, because you could do that. The Magic TV, you don't know. They could just plant it and say, oh, we found something, but they had found it years ago. And tonight they're supposed to be finding a ring because that was in the previews. So, but did they actually find the ring in the actual timeline that they're doing all this? Who knows? So that's why I'm starting to question what the deal is with this show, and if they are actually, first of all, are still looking and they think there's something there, or if they found it already and now they're just milking the show for what it's worth, because it's getting good ratings. But if you can't just say I solved the mystery, end the show when the ratings are high. I mean, a network's not going to let you do that. They're just going to say, milk this as long as you can and let's make some money off of it, because that's what talks. So they keep looking for this stuff, this treasure, and they find these little things, and they're poking holes in this island. Now they've been working out in this swamp that's next to this part where the money pit is. That's what they call the pit that they found all this stuff originally, and now they're working out in the swamp because they think they had a boat in the swamp and that got buried out there. I mean, just weird stuff going on. Obviously something happened on this island, and because they keep finding things all around the island, hidden wharfs that were buried. They closed off this lagoon, got all the water out of it and started digging. They found a buried wharf in there with old timbers and stuff. That stuff's really cool. You can't fake that. But it's just, they're not finding anything. They're not giving you enough to say, oh, we're solving the mystery. But they're doing just enough to keep you hooked. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm starting to think, do I stop watching this show and just tell me when you find something, when you solve the mystery, and then I'll watch that episode, and then I can move on with my life. Because that's kind of where I'm getting. But it's hard to do that. So I'll watch the rest of this season. So tonight's show, I think there's a show next week. That might be the season finale. I don't know. But that's coming up quick. And then they're not going to solve the mystery this year. I can guarantee you that. They will milk this another season at least. And hopefully we can wrap this up before I die. Actually, one of the good parts of the show now, because it's all a big sausage fest, it's all these guys. They have hired this lady who runs. She's 30 years old. She took over her dad's business. It's rock equipment, and what they bring in are these big long tubes, so they could dig a hole. And the original size tubes were probably about 4 or 5 feet in diameter, and big steel ones with teeth on the bottom of the first one. They would oscillate this thing and would dig into the ground really slowly, but it would just dig in, so you could get down there and then take a big claw thing down the middle of the tube and start pulling stuff out to try to find whatever's down there. So she's been coming in now the last few years, and she came back last episode with a bigger tube. They're calling them cans. So, and the cans that she's bringing in are like 6 feet wide or 8 feet wide. They're big, and they get in this oscillator and they just spin back and forth. It's like if you take your finger into sand and you twist back and forth and it goes in. Same concept, only much, much larger, and it's just an empty tube. And then they start digging the stuff out of the middle of the tube to see if they can find anything of note. So she's coming in, and she's this pretty blonde girl. So it's nice to see something different than all these old white guys trying to find all this treasure. But she comes in with this big can on the trailer, and she comes in and she said, yeah, we'll get set up and we'll start slamming can tomorrow, which I find very, a little off-putting coming out of a 30-year-old woman's mouth. But it's funny. Technically, she's a blonde with big cans, and she's a gold digger. If you take it in the literal sense. But you can't say that because that's not right. But it's kind of what she is. But they're going to start digging again tonight and clawing some of the stuff out of the middle, and hopefully they'll find something. I'll still watch. I just don't know how long I'm going to watch anymore. I'm losing my patience. Well, there's no baseball. Our Brewers, they're on the shelf. But that's not going to stop us from doing a Brewers update. Last night, the Brewers would have taken on St. Louis. First game, I believe, of a 3-game series. Of course, they didn't play because there's no baseball going on now. But if they were to play, the score would have been 15-0. Brewers. Christian Yelich, 3 home runs and a single. Can't be perfect all the time. So there's your Brewer update. They're 4-0, by the way, in my mind. That's about it. I'm gonna wrap things up. We'll talk tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday, so I'll do something stupid tomorrow too. We haven't done White Russian Wednesday, but I don't have any cream in the house. I could do a Black Russian, or I could do screwdrivers again, which I've been kind of liberal about that all week, actually, in the morning. We'll see. So that's all tomorrow here as CoronaViction continues. Have a great day. Talk to you on day 13.